The desert doesn't forgive mistakes. It burns the weak, buries the careless, and devours the slow. For soldiers deployed to the scorching wastelands of Iraq and Afghanistan, the enemy isn't always human. Sometimes, it has 8 legs, jaws like garden shears, and moves faster than fear itself. This is the story of the camel spider, a creature so nightmarish that hardened combat veterans refuse to sleep on the ground. A beast so aggressive that it will chase a grown man across the sand in broad daylight. And a predator so misunderstood that the truth behind its behavior is more terrifying than the myths. Picture this: a remote military outpost somewhere in the Middle Eastern desert. The sun hammers down at 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Sand infiltrates everything: your gear, your food, your lungs. The air shimmers with heat, distorting reality itself. You're thousands of miles from home, surrounded by hostility, armed to the teeth, but you're not afraid of insurgents. You're afraid of what lives under your bunk. Soldiers call them camel spiders, though locals know them by darker names: wind scorpions, sun spiders. The stories spread through the barracks like wildfire. A sergeant swears he saw one the size of a dinner plate crawling up the latrine wall. A private claims he woke up with one sitting on his chest, jaws clicking in the darkness. Another soldier insists they scream as they run, a high-pitched shriek that sounds almost human. The most terrifying rumor? That these creatures can inject a local anesthetic into sleeping victims, then eat chunks of flesh so large you'd wake up missing muscle tissue and never feel a thing. Imagine drifting off to sleep in your tent, exhausted from a 20-hour patrol, only to wake up hours later to find something has been feeding on you. These aren't ghost stories told around campfires. These are whispered warnings from men who've served multiple tours. Men who've faced gunfire without flinching, but refuse to let their boots touch the floor overnight. They shake out their sleeping bags 3 times before crawling in. They duct tape their pant legs to their boots. They sleep with flashlights clutched in their fists. Because in this desert, the camel spider is more than a pest. It's a legend, a nightmare with legs, an enemy that doesn't carry an AK-47 but somehow inspires more visceral terror than any militant ever could. Staff Sergeant Marcus Chen had been in country for 7 months. He'd survived IED ambushes, sandstorms that could strip paint off vehicles, and temperatures that made his rifle too hot to hold. He considered himself unshakable until the day he met the Shadow Hunter. It happened during a routine perimeter check at 1400 hours, the deadest part of the afternoon when even the wind stops moving. The kind of heat that makes you question every life decision that led you to this god-forsaken wasteland. Chen was walking the fence line, scanning for disturbances, when movement caught his eye. At first, he thought it was a piece of tan fabric blowing across the sand. Then it changed direction, toward him. As it got closer, Chen's blood turned to ice water despite the inferno around him. It was massive, easily the length of his forearm from fingertip to elbow. 8 legs carried it across the desert floor at impossible speed. The body was covered in bristling tan hair that made it look even larger. But what froze Chen in place were the jaws. 2 enormous Chelicerae, mandibles that looked like something from a medieval torture chamber, jutted forward from its head. They moved independently, opening and closing with mechanical precision, each one a third the length of its entire body. They weren't the delicate piercing fangs of a typical spider. These were bone saws, hydraulic crushers designed to reduce prey to pulp, and they were pointed directly at him. Chen backed up instinctively. The creature adjusted its trajectory, maintaining its direct course toward him. He took 3 more steps back. It accelerated, closing the distance. The staff sergeant, a man trained in hand-to-hand combat, qualified expert with multiple weapon systems, felt something he hadn't experienced since childhood. Primal, irrational fear. He turned and ran. Behind him, the creature pursued. Not with the random skittering of an insect, but with purpose. With intent. Its 8 legs moved in perfect coordination, propelling it across the sand at speeds approaching 10 miles per hour. In the desert silence, Chen could hear it. The soft, rapid clicking of its mouthparts, the whisper of its legs against sand. He'd heard the stories. He knew what those jaws could do. Images flashed through his mind, the creature catching up, latching onto his calf. Those massive Chelicerae sawing through boot leather, then skin, then muscle. He ran harder, his body armor weighing him down, his rifle banging against his chest. For 30 terrifying seconds, Marcus Chen, combat veteran, Purple Heart recipient, man who'd stared down enemy fighters without blinking, ran for his life from an arachnid. To understand the horror of the camel spider, you must first understand what it actually is, and more importantly, what it isn't. Despite its name, the camel spider is not a spider. It's not a scorpion either, though it shares their desert habitat. It belongs to the order Solifugae, derived from Latin words meaning those who flee from the sun. There are over 1,000 species worldwide, but the ones that haunt soldiers' nightmares belong to species found across the Middle East and North Africa. Scientifically, they're fascinating. Psychologically, they're the stuff of evolutionary nightmares. The largest species reach leg spans of 5 to 6 inches, still massive enough to cover your entire hand. Their bodies alone can exceed 2 inches in length, making them among the largest arachnids that aren't true spiders or scorpions. Camel spiders are among the fastest land invertebrates on Earth. They can run at sustained speeds of 10 miles per hour in short bursts, with some reports suggesting even faster sprints. To put that in perspective, that's faster than most humans can jog. They can cover the length of a football field in less than 20 seconds. When you spot one running at you across open desert, your brain has trouble processing how something that size can move that fast. Their Chelicerae, the technical term for their jaw structures, are the largest proportional to body size of any creature on Earth. Each Chelicerae is roughly 1/3 the length of the entire body, operating independently with powerful muscles. Unlike spiders that inject venom through delicate fangs, or insects that pierce and suck, camel spiders use brute mechanical force. Their jaws work like industrial shears, capable of generating tremendous pressure. They don't just bite, they saw, chop, and pulverize. Prey items are literally reduced to pulp by the repeated chopping action of these biological machetes. Researchers have documented camel spiders killing and consuming lizards, small rodents, birds, scorpions, and even other camel spiders. They're opportunistic carnivores with appetites that seem outsized for their bodies. One observed specimen consumed so much prey in a single feeding that its abdomen swelled to twice its normal size, leaving it unable to run properly for hours. The camel spider doesn't have venom glands. It doesn't need them. Instead, it uses digestive enzymes to liquefy prey tissue externally. After reducing its victim to paste with those horrific jaws, it secretes enzymes that turn solid tissue into liquid soup, which it then consumes. The entire process is methodical, brutal, and disturbingly efficient. Despite having multiple pairs of eyes, camel spiders have relatively poor vision. They hunt primarily through vibration detection and chemoreception. Those long leg-like appendages at the front, called pedipalps, function as sensory organs, constantly tasting and feeling the environment. They're essentially running blind at 10 miles per hour, navigating entirely by touch and chemical signals. This explains their seemingly aggressive behavior. They don't see soldiers as prey or threat. They often don't see them at all until they collide. Their world is one of vibrations, chemical traces, and shadows. Shadows. Here's the moment where horror transforms into tragedy, where monster becomes victim, and where the most terrifying truth is revealed. The camel spider isn't chasing you because it wants to eat you. It's chasing you because it's dying. Camel spiders are predominantly nocturnal creatures. They spend the scorching desert days hidden beneath rocks, in burrows, or inside any structure that provides shade and cooler temperatures. They emerge at night to hunt when temperatures drop and prey becomes active. Caught in direct sunlight during peak afternoon heat, a camel spider faces a death sentence. Their bodies aren't designed to regulate temperature under the full force of the desert sun. When Staff Sergeant Chen encountered that massive specimen sprinting toward him, he wasn't being hunted. He was being used as an emergency shelter. The creature wasn't chasing him. It was chasing his shadow. As Chen backed away, his shadow moved with him. To the heat-stressed camel spider, that patch of shade represented its only chance at survival. When Chen ran, the shadow ran with him, and the desperate creature pursued the one thing that might save its life. The faster Chen ran, the faster his shadow moved, and the harder the dying arachnid chased after salvation. From the soldier's perspective, a giant spider with jaws like bolt cutters is hunting him across the desert with relentless determination. From the spider's perspective, the only shade in a killing field keeps moving away, and every second in direct sunlight brings it closer to death. This is the cruel irony at the heart of the camel spider legend. Nearly every attack story told by soldiers follows the same pattern. Midday encounter, creature running directly at human retreats, creature pursues. It looks like aggression. It feels like predation. But it's actually desperation. The camel spider isn't a monster trying to eat you. It's a dying animal trying to survive in an environment that's killing it. The attack is a misunderstanding. One party seeking shade, the other fleeing what appears to be a nightmare creature bent on violence. Now that we understand the truth, let's dismantle the myths that have surrounded these creatures. Camel spiders cannot scream vocally, but they can produce a hissing or clicking sound by rubbing their jaws together. The screaming soldiers report is likely the sound of their own breathing, and heartbeat amplified by fear, or possibly wind passing through rocks and equipment, not the creature itself emitting high-pitched shrieks. Camel spiders have no venom glands and cannot inject anything. This myth likely originated from soldiers waking with unexplained bites or wounds, probably from actual spiders, scorpions, or infections, and attributing them to the most fearsome creature they'd encountered. Camel spiders are not jumping spiders. While they can make small hops when navigating rough terrain, the myth that they jump several feet vertically onto camels' bellies or humans' faces is false. They're incredibly fast runners, but they lack the specialized anatomical structures for dramatic leaping attacks. The famous photographs showing camel spiders the size of dinner plates use forced perspective, holding small specimens close to the camera while the reference object is far away. The largest species max out around 6 inches, including leg span. Camel spiders are opportunistic predators of insects and small animals. They have no interest in humans except as mobile shade. Most aggressive behavior is actually defensive posturing when they're cornered. The camel spider story endures because it taps into something fundamental in human psychology: the fear of being hunted by something alien and unstoppable. In the chaos and uncertainty of deployment, where real threats lurk around every corner, the camel spider becomes a focal point for all that ambient fear and stress. It's easier to fear the spider under your bunk than the IED under the road. The spider is visible, immediate, and can be killed with a boot. The spider gives soldiers something concrete to fight in an environment where the real enemy is often invisible. But here's the deeper truth. Both soldier and spider are victims of the same hostile environment. Both are surviving in conditions that want them dead. Both are trying desperately to find shade in a merciless landscape. Both are just trying to make it through another day. When Marcus Chen finally stopped running and looked back, the camel spider had disappeared, either into a crevice in the rocks or possibly dead from heat exposure. He never saw it again, but he thinks about it constantly, not with fear anymore, but with something closer to understanding. In the Shadow Hunter of the Sands, soldiers see a monster, but the monster sees only salvation, a moving patch of darkness in the killing light. The chase continues because both parties are running from the same thing: the desert itself, indifferent to soldier and spider alike, consuming everything that cannot hide from the sun. The real horror isn't the creature with the hydraulic jaws. It's the realization that in the desert, we're all just chasing shadows, running from the light, trying to survive one more scorching day in a landscape that wants us dead.